The Communist Party of China's propaganda department has asked media to only report positive stories on the, quote, prevention and control of the outbreak. This is to sway public opinion and give a sense that everything is okay. Some stories have sparked debate, like this one about a medical staff who gave birth to twins 20 days ago and then went back to the hospital to work out of her own initiative. Her husband drove the 7 hours to the hospital and back. When the twins woke up, they asked the father where their mother was going. While this was supposed to spark a positive response, netizens weren't convinced and pointed out how amazing it was that a 20-day-old baby could talk. One sarcastically wrote, quote, "I thought the 20-day-old baby cut his own umbilical cord and went to the front lines." While another pointed out that all roads are closed in an attempt to stem the outbreak and wondered how the father could drive to the hospital without encountering any obstacle.
I am Rob from iTech Pickers. This is going to be our coronavirus update. We are Wednesday, the 19th of February 2020. So let's just start with this piece of news. 3 Wall Street Journal reporters have been fired over a racist article. And actually, it's not even their article. It's an article written by someone else in the journal. So China decided to expel 3 journalists as a result. You know, I don't know if you guys have noticed. I kind of watch Chinese state television once in a while just to see what they have to say, and they have really stepped up the propaganda, and you can also see that when you look at the Chinese ambassadors around the world giving their speeches about the coronavirus, and they're not even talking anymore about the possibly millions of people infected and those poor people that are suffering and dying. No, they're all of their speeches, they're all about praising themselves. They're praising themselves for the response to this, and they actually try to make people believe that they're in control of the situation and that they are healing people now, and this is gonna go away. And obviously, when you look at the situation on the ground, it's just getting worse and worse every day. But they have really stepped up the propaganda. If you look at the Chinese state TV, and they've got all of these nice stories about people getting cured of the coronavirus, and people who are praising Xi Jinping's government for curing them. And you see absolutely no report about the body bags and the people dying and the people who go to the hospital where there's absolutely no one to take care of them, and the shortage of everything. The doctors don't have any they don't have any tools anymore. They have nothing to work with. But the Chinese state media gives a completely different assessment of the situation. If you believe what they say on the Chinese state media, everything's going well. They're in perfect control. And of course, this only proves what I've been saying, is that now they are at the point where they are not trying to cure anyone. They are not trying to help the people anymore. They have pretty much locked everybody inside their homes. They have welded their front doors. They have put padlocks on their doors, and they're just keeping them inside until they die. That's the way I see it, and they're doing that in most big cities in China now. They're just locking people inside their homes. And they're saying, if you go out, we're gonna shoot you or we're gonna beat you up or whatever. And this is like, I mean, this is 17th century 17th century way of dealing with. That's how they dealt with the plague in the Great Plague of London, where they would, if they had any suspicion of someone had the plague, they would lock him up inside his home with his family, with his children, regardless of whether they had the plague or not. They would put a padlock on the door and keep someone outside to watch, to make sure that they stay inside, and they would keep them there until they're dead. And then they would go inside the home and just take the jewels, the money, or anything that's valuable, and get rid of the body. And that's how they dealt with the plague in the 17th century. Now China is doing the exact same thing. And the reason for that is that they have nothing else available. They do not have any more medication. They do not have any more masks. They have nothing in their hospitals. So they've decided, you know what? We're just gonna stick people inside their homes, put padlocks on their doors, and we're just gonna solve the problem that way. And of course, they are arresting anyone who's talking about it or smuggling information out of China. They've been doing that for a while, but they've stepped up. They've stepped up the arrests and the persecution of journalists. They have gone, they've been doing way more propaganda and way more censorship in the last few days than they were doing at the beginning of the outbreak. And that proves what I've been saying, is that now they're not. It's not about the people anymore. It's about the regime struggling to stay in power. It's the regime doing everything to stay in power, and now that they are the center of attraction of the rest of the world, people are seeing just how this rotten regime deals with its own people, and now they're putting the rest of the world. They are putting the rest of the world in danger because of the way they handle stuff. And there's a big crisis inside the Communist Party right now. So they're focusing all of their efforts to solve the crisis inside the party and protect themselves, while they're just letting the people to die in their country. So that's how it is now. Two more deaths outside of China. The two Iranians died of the coronavirus, and in fact, they were the only two cases reported in Iran. So they died. So for those people who think that this disease is not deadly, well, now you have one country who only had two cases, and both are dead. So this is a really deadly disease. Of course, more news today from the plague ship in Yokohama. Now they have diagnosed another 79 new cases of coronavirus inside this floating incubator. So hopefully, I think they're getting the people out of that boat now. Obviously, that was a nightmare for these people. They have the total number of people infected on that boat is 621. 621 cases, just one boat. Imagine how fast this is going to be spreading to the rest of the world. Just one boat out of possibly like thousands of boats. 621 cases. You see, this is what I've been telling people from the very beginning. This is going to be big, and frankly, I'm surprised myself just how fast this is going, because I didn't think this was gonna go as fast as it's going now. But and I'm gonna show you a little something too. If we look at the statistics outside of China, I did some calculation this morning. Now you have 6, 7, 8. You have 8 deaths outside of China, because of course the numbers from China cannot be trusted. But the cases outside of China, they're reliable. You have 8 deaths. All right, and you've got 200 people recovered, total recovered. I did the calculation just with a pen and paper and my calculator. So that's the result. Out of all of these people who are infected, you got 200 recovered, 8 dead. Because you've only got 2 choices. You can recover or you can die. There's only 2 outcomes to this. So 200 recovered, 8 dead. That gives you a 4% death rate. So I guess it's too early to be 100% sure about this. But from the numbers, from the only reliable numbers that we have, it's 4% case mortality, a 4% case mortality rate for this disease. So it's double the number that the number of 2% that's being thrown around, and that makes a big difference. And 4%, and that's 4% under the best conditions, the best healthcare, and the best conditions, because we know that most countries don't have any healthcare system at all. Many countries don't have good healthcare, so, and most people who can't afford the healthcare, they won't get any. So 4% under the best conditions. So it's twice what has been, the 2% rate here. And the transmission rate is way more than that. It's about 6 or 7. But my calculations this morning, 4% death rate. The incubation period is 2 to 14 days, but there are cases where it's been longer than that, And people are spread the disease while they are in incubation period. So they don't have any symptoms. Nobody knows that they have the coronavirus, but they're spreading it. And that's the big problem with that disease. So with a 4% fatality rate, it's not going to be pretty. That means if 1 million people get infected, you're going to have 40,000. You're going to have 40,000 people dead. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to get worse every day, and we're going to get those numbers in the millions and the thousands and the tens of thousands and the hundreds of thousands. And probably we're going to have deaths in the number in the millions. So I think everybody should be warned. I've seen this coming from the very beginning of the infection, the outbreak. And now what I'm seeing right now is the market collapse. There is going to be a market collapse because the market is not prepared for that. The market, the stock markets in the U.S., every day they believe that it's going to get solved somehow. It's just going to disappear. It's not going to disappear. It's going to get bigger and bigger. And the costs are astronomical. The costs for this disease. China, the costs in China so far have been in the trillions of dollars. And the costs outside China for the coronavirus, it's in the billions every day. Thailand is, they're losing billions because they have no tourists. Uh, I mean, it's incredible the costs. Uh, most countries in Asia have seen a drop in tourism, an unbelievable drop. They're losing billions every day, and and the loss, it's, we're not feeling it right now in North America, but we're gonna feel it because most companies, they need parts from China to produce their whatever it is that they're producing. And if you if there's only just one part of your of the thing you're producing, if there's just one part that you need in China and you can't get because China is on a complete lockdown right now, then you can't produce here. So the market is gonna feel it. It's coming. So if you want my opinion, get the hell out of the market. Get the hell out. You're gonna see the S&P, the Dow, the Nasdaq. You're gonna see a crash. We're gonna have a crash, and it's gonna look like 2008, maybe worse. But the market is still in denial right now. They're completely clueless as to what's happening, what's coming. So, guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I will come back tomorrow with more updates because there's so much information coming every single day. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is going so fast. The number of people getting infected, the number of people dying. It's difficult to keep up with what's happening right now. So I'm gonna keep an eye on stuff today. I'll come back to you tomorrow. So in the meantime, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I will see you tomorrow.